4:59 a.m. Feeling really good, happy, excited, ready to crush, loving life, enjoying. Yeah, doing really good. All right, welcome to Tuesday. So, most important day of the week. As I spoke about yesterday, you're going to be seeing this on Wednesday morning, of course. However, I'm going to be editing Monday's vlog and uploading that right now. I've got my coffee, I've got my tea, laptop over here. I think this is still dead from last night. That's actually a thing. It means I won't get distracted because my laptop doesn't have as many blockers set up as my main computer. I've got my task list, like I walked you guys through yesterday, but pretty simple stuff. Just want to get my team paid, ramp up, video posted, editing, and then also some calisthenics workouts and also an onboarding. So that is everything that I have planned for today. Yeah, super excited. 5:42 a.m. Gonna go ahead and do it. Lights out, it's time to work. So, yeah. See you, boys. Okay, guys. I am in the process of exporting the vlog, which is now done, 7:04. So kind of on schedule, a little bit behind schedule. Actually, wait, no, I'm not behind schedule. You can see I am in the middle, so I did the onboard prep before the vlog, which I was actually planning to do it in the other order, but I'm glad I did it in the way that I did it. Okay, my Canva's not opening, which is not ideal because I mean, if it was just like a normal thumbnail, when I make my main channel thumbnails, I use Photoshop, or any like thumbnail that needs a lot of design prowess, I use Photoshop. But Canva's just easier when I have templates for stuff, which these vlogs happen to be something I have very templated. So it says, please unblock challenges.cloudflare.com to proceed. So this means that it's something to do with security settings. I mean, I know what Cloudflare is. It's just hosting service. I mean, what are the chances that I'm hacked? Compromised. I downloaded any dumb files? I've been hacked before. Downloaded Minecraft cheats as a 6-year-old. That original Acer laptop I had when I was like 9 had at least a dozen viruses on it. You could not open that thing. Okay, this is interesting. I'm not sure, because my Brain FM also stopped. But if I were to test another website, stats, see if there is any issues with it. I don't know. No, it's saying please unblock cloudflare.challenges to proceed. Scheduled maintenance, Miami. No, it's saying. Okay, let me search up this error. I'm gonna try and do this because I can't. Try disabling browser extensions. Oh, so maybe I have a browser extension causing this. Yeah, I don't think it's anything malware related. Are there any extensions on that I usually don't have on? Okay, we'll see what I can do. Okay, so my client onboarding is prepped. I got such good sleep that I didn't even need any neurogum or nicotine gum, which is odd. I mean, it's not odd. I'm happy. I'm very happy about that. It's great. Crap. I'm down to finishing my second. I have one more left on, well, I have this half, then I have one more left on the good tasting one, and then it's on to the one that just tastes so bad. It's gonna be like torture in the morning. But yeah, doing really good. I'm super excited to onboard this client because I spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but he is actually in the process of launching his content agency. So I am just kind of giving him all the systems that I use to help him get off the ground, and it's super cool to share, right? Like obviously I'm not running a coaching program or consulting program for this at all. I don't do this literally for anybody else, but kind of just like stumbled onto a call last week, and it seems like I could really help him, and I know I can based on the conversation we had. So I'm gonna help him get his first client, and there's a whole lot of great stuff that I just prepared, like all of the outreach, like the entire script, all the trackers that we're gonna be using if I pop open the framework, the volume, all that stuff. So looking really, really good there. I'm super excited. Now I actually have to edit my vlog. I thought I was gonna be procrastinating this task of, like I thought this was gonna be like the big work task of the morning, but it turns out I literally did it before the vlog, which is kind of just chill. So you can see now, this is crossed out. It's time to go ahead and get the beastly vlog day 73. All right, guys, let's fly. Bang, bang. Hey guys, it's not my fault. Look what I found. Cloudflare Miami is down, which it said before, but I didn't, and I know it's Miami, by the way. I know it said there's scheduled downtime in Miami, but yeah, okay. There's been multiple customers, widespread 500 errors, API also failing, impacted the problem. Okay, so this is kind of like the AWS outage. Could be an internal server error, could be somebody is hacky and holding some ransom or something like that. Best thing to do is just hope my data doesn't get destroyed. Damn, this is really crazy. Look, even X is down. Wow, internet's gonna have a field day with this. I wonder what is not down. YouTube's not down. Good old YouTube. Instagram shouldn't be down. Instagram's not down. Let me finish this up. Cloudflare, and I can search by last hour. Yeah. Some guys posting YouTube videos, Cloudflare problem 7 seconds ago. Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, look, anybody in this part of the world, same issue. Well, that is, I mean, not gonna heavily impact my workflow. Something that always bothers me about my exports, and I don't know if I'm not doing something right, but it always tells me the audio files need to render, and I just don't understand why the audio takes so darn long to render. Maybe I just don't know enough, so I'm gonna do some research into that. But there really isn't much to do other than wait for this export, because I'm gonna be editing my own video after. So maybe I'll hit you guys. I was watching TJR's little vlog series that he did, and he calls them when he walks outside and talks, just like a yap attack. Tries to do one every single day. So let me just check in on a few more things here. This is loading. How to make audio render faster, Premiere Pro export. Okay, I'm gonna do some research on this. Media coder. Export through Media Encoder instead of Premiere Pro. Okay. That's good comms. So I'm gonna do that. Send to Media Encoder. Alright, that's gonna open. And then this is really as simple as like majority of things are. I took a lot of inspiration from just like knowing people that code and do software and all this stuff. And one of the big things that you just like see these people constantly talk about that I really just have taken inspiration for is they don't know what they're doing half the time because things change so often. So they go ahead and just make it pretty simple. They just Google everything, ChatGPT, everything, and it is, super simple once again. So this is exporting. There's no really way to make it faster. It's whatever. But now it's saying that it's going to be doing it in 57 seconds instead of 30 minutes like you guys just saw. So stuff like that happens all the time. While this Cloudflare thing's out, I just have to wait for it to export. And then maybe I upload the vlog for today a little bit later when the servers come back online, or maybe I just use Photoshop. Doesn't make a difference to me. However, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit you guys with a few lessons that I've been learning recently. I talked about one yesterday, which is you either go towards the pain or the pain comes to you. That's a real good one. Beautiful morning, by the way. The next one that has been very adamant on my mind is that, again, it seems that everything below $100,000 a month, and holy, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like cat prints from the morning dew and then their dirty paws running around the pool. Sometimes they drink the pool water, which I don't know how to stop. But one thing that I've really learned is anything below 100K a month is usually just an exposure problem. So much of like the online money world is so invested in like figuring out, hey, how's this person optimizing XYZ and how can I do the same? Like, what's my marketing positioning? And there's a very unique caliber of individual. So there's a few. There are the people that have refined messaging and make a lot of money, and they'll have like a nice landing page, load super fast, all these things. And then you meet the people that just don't. They literally just don't. Their landing pages are not fast loading, not optimized, any of this stuff. They just kind of Chad ram exposure, whether that's through outreach, ads, or organic, right? People that come to mind when it comes to just kind of Chad ramming and not focusing on the aesthetics or the crazy offerings of things. I think Charlie Morgan, he's been just saying marketing agencies, coaches, and consultants. Cole Gordon does the same thing, just runs it to a very simple landing page. VSL is not complex at all, just offer-based marketing. TJR is another great example. His landing pages and sequences are not like optimized at all, really. And when I was doing the funnel hack for him, I saw so many people calling it optimized, and I remember doing it. I was like, this is not optimized at all. And not saying that that's a bad thing. Like it's an amazing thing, because it makes you kind of come back to what is the most important part, which for him is his organic content, ability to post trading results every single day and be good at what he does, and then just having the general exposure to be like, hey, this is the offer. It doesn't have to be like this compelling, manipulative, psychological, like pseudoscience. If you study persuasion and propaganda, the biggest thing that most propaganda campaigns that fail are missing is just like frequency, volume. And I was talking about this with a client yesterday. Virality on social media, after you show up one time, people are aware of you. And then as you kind of keep showing up, you kind of just become like an assumptive authority. We don't really like crown people as kings. They just show up so freaking often that they are, and we just know them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They're just cemented in the market. So when you think about it like that, the biggest metric to optimize for is just frequency and throughput, because on a long-term time horizon that leads to the highest conversion rates, and the frequency of exposure will eventually also up your conversion rates when people come more familiar with you, especially if it's through organic content. So I say that to go, like, most people, including myself when I say this, by the way, just need to make a landing page, a VSL, and leave it the fuck alone. Don't touch it. Don't play with your sequences. Like, don't do anything other than up the frequency, because that's the biggest problem, right? Where all the messaging, psychology, science, and effort should go in is the persuasion aspects of your content, your ads, and your outbound, or like whichever one you decide to do. It shouldn't be going into the conversion mechanism. It's like, if you think about it like almost like a funnel, you just need to fill it. Like, you just need to fill it up. Just full funnel up, right? Like, the worst case scenario that happens is you make money. Having an efficient funnel is almost like a byproduct of having a lot of attention. Because if you don't have an efficient funnel, you're going to have a really big motivation to get one when you begin like scaling up, because you have all this tension. You're like, holy crap, how can I convert it? But then B, it's also like ads is not like this. So you can really hurt yourself here with ads. Like, you can run ads to a crappy landing page and just get nothing. But with organic content and outbound, it's almost like there's a built-in built-in filtration mechanism where your content won't get high frequency, your content won't get high views, and therefore landing page visitors, or your outbound won't get high responses and therefore landing page visitors or leads if it's not good. So just by focusing on getting better at what the throughput or the input mechanism of attention and frequency is, you're going to build the longest lasting organic brand in your space, but then B, you're also just going to get all the attention and frequency that you need to sell. And it's going to be done in a way where your funnel doesn't matter the efficiency, because the throughput has the persuasion. And it's something that like all the funnel builders kind of, if you have enough clients and have like met and worked with enough people, you kind of start to understand that it's not like about having the best messaging in the world. It's about having simple messaging and great persuasion. So that is a little yap attack for the day, 10 minutes. I'm going to sit out here, drink my coffee, go to the bathroom, and just wait for this thing to export. And then we're going to hope this Cloudflare problem fixes so I can go on Canva, and then we're going to edit the main video. But yeah, that's the day. Onboarding's all prepped, so I have that call at 1, and until then it's just deep work. All right, guys. So I just did something that I think is going to be a very big change. Changing the series name again. It was 4 a.m. monk mode, then it was monk mode, and now I think I've titled it the most appropriately, and probably something that will get more attention to these videos, which is Road to 1M. And I think it's a really good title because it does encapsulate what I'm doing here. My goal to $1 million profit, right? I've not made $1 million profit yet in my last 3 years as an entrepreneur in revenue. I've generated over $2 million. So I kind of just included that in my bio, just because I want there to be like congruency between everything. But I'm super excited for what this series holds. And yeah, this is also just a way better YouTube title. So people will probably find out about the content more as I continue to get more and more days and the series done. Bang, bang. All right, did some push-ups. It is 8:41, editing. I did like probably about 30 minutes to an hour of editing with forgetting to plug my camera in. So just whatever, but we're gonna get to it. Something you've probably noticed about me, and I think it's worth addressing, is that I consume an unhealthy amount of brain rot. Specifically, I only brain rot on YouTube. And there's an actual reason behind this, because I've had times in my life where I literally don't go on social media. When I took like a little hiatus for about 6 months from posting on YouTube when I got really focused as an operator in my business. And of course I still watched YouTube, but I was the most out of touch person that you'd know. If I watched YouTube, it'd be like nature documentaries or something. And I still do stuff like that. Or I'd watch a lot of movies during that time. That's what it was. I used to watch like a movie a day, sometimes 2 movies a day. It was crazy. That's what it was. It was the movies. And the reason why I share this is because being tapped in to a decent level of brain rot is one of the biggest hacks for whatever social media you're trying to grow on. Like, I have not met an actual influencer that is either not cracked out on brain rot themselves and or has a team member that is cracked out on brain rot that is controlling their media. And you can tell when somebody's paying somebody to do it and when somebody's actually just the rotter. So I'll give you an example. TJR, you can tell he scrolls TikTok. Brez, you can tell he scrolls TikTok. Rob, even though he's older and has a team, you can tell is on the social media apps. Like, you can tell. He maybe is not as much, but you can kind of like sense the degree of brain rot and social crap, not milk. You can sense the degree of brain rot in certain people. And it's funny. I tell this to my clients because sometimes I'll do everything I can with the YouTube idea, title, scripting. I'm the brain rotted YouTube kid for them. But what they need to do, if they want to understand what I'm trying to push, and because that's the big thing, is like a lot of my clients want comprehension around why something's working or why maybe something's not working. And the big thing that I always tell people is like, spend some time on YouTube and you'll get it. And there's a specific client of mine that I'm thinking about right now. And I was talking to him and I was like, dude, you watch YouTube a lot. And I can tell because of just the way that he delivers things and the way that he goes about thinking of it overall. It is really one of the biggest hacks if you're doing anything related to a social media, is to just be in the top 1% of consumers. And I know people are like, oh, create but don't consume. It's like, consume and create. And there's sometimes like a line in the sand that I have to draw. Like, I ate food, but I took a lot longer to eat food than I should have because I just found a freaking hilarious video with Timothy Chalamet doing like an internal marketing Zoom stunt. And I was like, this is fucking hilarious. And stuff like that happens. And I'm in a line of work where I can justify it. And I'll tell you, like, hand over, that it is so helpful for me just understanding what needs to go on. Like, perfect example here. Jeremy Haynes, 1 mil a month, OG, like that's what his channel targets. He's like a OG internet marketing dude. He just released a vlog. I'm about to watch that while I edit because that's interesting. I just want to know what's going on in the space. And I heard Iman say something. He's like, yeah, when I eat lunch, I watch YouTube on 2x speed, just go through a bunch of videos. And somebody so high up still being tapped in, it kind of reminds me of like how you see Drake always like mingling and getting to know and eventually stealing the flows of younger artists or whatever's in style, but that's how he stays on top. So it's a very gray area and tightrope to kind of walk, but I think by and large, if you get your crap done, like right now I've been up since 5, I've been editing for 4 hours straight, made good progress on all my projects, and if I eat lunch a little bit early because I'm super hungry and I didn't eat last night, and I watch 30 to 45 minutes of brain rot, and I get back to editing and I work until a thing, that's still like 10 hours of locked in focus on the day. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys because there is a fine line to walk. Short form content, I meet guys who are really good at short form content. I have a friend who's really good at short form content. And I have 2 friends actually I'm thinking about, Wyatt and Tristan. And these guys get millions and millions of views with short form of content, like both of them. And they're at the top of their industry that they're in, which is Fortnite creative map marketing. And these guys are so like rotted out, it's hilarious. But it impacts their life and their productivity, but it also makes them really good at making content. So it's such a fine line. I think with YouTube is a little bit more controllable. I have another friend that's an artist, and he has a job as an A&R along with being an artist. So he's like he's mandated to scroll, and it's the same thing. Where these people get so tapped in and understand the algorithm, it kind of inspired me to start brain rotting. And I'll tell you, like, very high ROI activity, believe it or not. And I don't like try and like sit here and like justify it as work. Like, it's stupid, but it's not stupid. So I still do it, and it's a great little sense of enjoyment that I get from my life because I'm also genuinely just interested in this stuff. So I'm gonna watch this vlog while I get back into the editing for, actually I have a team meeting in 5 minutes, so I just noticed that. So I might actually just be focusing on that. But I'll get started with this video, and I mean, you guys will see the time lapse, whatever. Okay, so I just finished my team meeting. I paid my editor for the month, and I'll be honest, I had to have a conversation about productivity and just like expectations not necessarily being met on my end, and it was a good one. Hard conversations always usually end really well because it's mutually understood. And the big thing that, like I spoke about with him, is I trusted his intention was good, right? And because of that, I started by telling him that, but I also said like, hey, I think your intention is good, but from my end at least, your actions didn't align with where I think your intention is. So I want to clarify, your intention is still good, we're still working together, things are still going well, there's nothing you're really mad at me about or reason why you're not doing this, and we confirmed, okay, that's good. I just had to explain that like, hey, this is what your actions should be if your intention is also here. And it just comes down to transparency, right? Because I trust somebody's intention is good, that means like you can be honest with me. And in my case scenario, my editor had something going on in his external life that, as much as I could sit here and go, oh, well, I expected you to get the video done and I have all these deadlines and all this stuff, it's his life, right? And it's end of the day, my responsibility to make sure my videos go out. I can't blame it on anybody else. And because of that, I just had to assess the situation and go, okay, when this happens though, you have to be very transparent with me so I can plan around it, right? Because the issue that I had was I was planning around him being available and planning my days around him being available, and on certain days he wasn't. And when I did that, it kind of screwed me over specifically on those days. So I kind of got reminded of the lesson that, like, hey, I've got to live my life how my life's to be lived for me to be most productive regardless, because at the end of the day, I'm just unhappy when I don't go to bed kind of early and wake up early at least. Like, I mean, there are some days where it's just like, all right, whatever, but like consistently as I like wake up later and later, it kind of sucks. So I'm not gonna be staying up later still, even though I'm drinking a coffee at 1, so I should get this down quickly. The next thing is I just had to say it, right? Like sometimes you just have to say what you expect, because you can't expect people to read your mind. And it gave me a lot of clarity as to what I need to do on this video. So I've got my onboarding now in 5 minutes because that call went on a lot longer than I expected it to. But once again, he's paid, we got a plan in place. We're gonna be continuing, which that was honestly one of the questions I had going into the call, is like, does it make sense for us to continue working together? And assuming everything that we've spoken about was acted on, I would say the answer is yes. So gonna go under the assumption that we're still continuing to work together for the month of this 15th, next 15th. And then from that point on, we should be rolling. And again, if not, I have things set up in a way where like I just have to brute force this video under any circumstances, so I'm okay to do that. I was planning to do that if any worst case scenario happens. So yeah, that's kind of just what it looks like on my end. I'm gonna drink this coffee because I'm not gonna take a little, like any kind of rest period. I have to continue editing. Yeah, gonna be doing that after my onboarding call here. And then after that, I'm gonna work out. And then in the evening, I wanna make all the branding changes to this personal channel, because as much as the personal channel has kind of been like a, I don't know, just like a passion play to document it for myself, there is still power in me putting effort in for you guys and also for the new people, right? Because at the end of the day, if my journey can inspire others while also serving my goals of growing my personal brand, I think why put all these effort into recording if I'm just gonna package it in a terrible way that's not gonna get that many views? So yeah, that's just a little update there. And that is the plan. So I'm gonna do this next meeting. Surprising, I guess, a lot of talk time today. I'll spend about 2 hours, no, 1 hour and 45 minutes talking to others, which that's usually like my little under my Monday talk time, actually quite a bit under my Monday talk time, but I wouldn't expect on a Tuesday. So a little interesting, not really accounted for. Wednesday I should be back to like 0 talk time, and then it almost like the week just blinks before my eyes. Like I'm gonna blink and it's Thursday. So weeks really do go so fast. Nowadays, they never used to work this way. They always used to be so long film, but they just snap, weeks over. And they're like, what? It's Friday like 2 days ago. But anyways, yeah, just living. I mean, they've got the Act 60 and Act 20 where, I mean, it's not quite worth it for me yet, but because I'm in Florida. So I was definitely like, I was scoping out that because it's also close to the Caribbean and I've never visited, but I've got family there. Yeah, and I'm also originally, like, I think I've said this, but I'm Canadian. So that's where, really, we have accents? Yeah, I get told I have an American accent by my family in Canada, so. Okay. Oh. Okay, guys. So I just finished my client meeting, and I really tried to over deliver. And I think I did. It's our second meeting in a row. First one went 1.5 hours. This one went 2 hours and 15 minutes. So pretty crazy. Almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. But I know that the time I'm spending is not in vain because this guy's going to get some really, really good results. And yeah, it's going to be super awesome. I think I just got summoned back to go do some jury duty or something. I got to figure out what the heck that is. Yeah. Let's hope they don't watch my vlogs. Because I actually am unable to... Whatever. Anyways. Good. Finished the meetings. Like I spoke about, the kind of intent thing with my editor, I have to kind of hustle today to get some more work done on the video because I haven't even finished one chapter. Now these last three chapters that last two chapters I'm working on, no, three. Chapters 10, 11, and 12 are super long. They're almost like the length of 3 chapters by themselves. So technically I've already edited like a chapter and a bit today of normal chapters, but it just doesn't feel like it because it's a really long chapter. So I'm gonna lock back in there. And then once I get through all the chapters, I'm gonna start editing all the B-roll. My editor focuses on the animations. And that way I can still kind of push the project forward while relying on him, while also not relying on him at the same time. Not because I don't trust him or anything, but just because we're on a crazy deadline. So I think it would be my fiduciary duty to also lead from the front in a situation like this, as I've been doing already. And I can't just like stop because he's more motivated now. So that's that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go for a run or anything today. I kind of want to. It's really nice out. But I also want to be able to get to bed on time and get more time editing. So what I'm going to do is listen to some tunes. I'm going to talk to friends for like 10 to 15 minutes. Kind of just like reset after a big call like that because it gets a lot out of you. And especially because I'm super introverted. So go like let myself chill. Maybe that's a limiting belief. I don't know. I just don't want to work right now, you know? Give me like 10 to 15. Maybe close my eyes a bit. I drank coffee at 3 p.m., so we're going to see how that fizzles out. I somehow need to be asleep by 8 p.m. still, so it's not ideal, but I think we can figure it out. Yeah. But anyways, that's that, and yeah. It's 6:32 right now. I haven't worked out or anything. I've just been sitting here editing because I'm not happy with what I got done today. I'm saying this as accountability because I almost slipped up, but I am super dehydrated. I've been for about an hour and a half now, and I've just kept delaying when I'm gonna take a drink. And I set it to I'm not gonna take a drink until I'm done this chapter. When I started this, I was at 3 minutes. Now I'm at just about 8 minutes in, and I have 2 more minutes left of editing. I spent 3 hours editing in the morning and only got 2 hours done. And I've done that in the last 30 minutes. This is an accountability message to myself. If I drink this water, boys, I'm a failure and I'm never going to amount to anything. And the world's going to crumble and I'll never achieve any of my dreams. So, look what I got to do now. Okay guys, I just got it done. So to zoom out of my timeline and show you guys, and by the way, sorry if there's TV in the background, but you can see, boom, and as life has it, my mom dropped me off a cantaloupe for some reason. I like cantaloupe a lot, but also a tea. So I got my drink, it's done, and I want to cross it off on my task list because
I was going to be ashamed of myself if I did not get this done today. However, that's almost 11 minutes of editing in the bank worth of video footage, which is really good. So I'm now happy about today, and I don't get to work out or do anything. It's already 7:24. I have to take everything, get ready to bed. I should probably have my blue light glasses on, but holy crap, I just need to get off my computer before I just need to get off my computer for a second and I'll reassess this, but yes, let's go. I just ore farm for the vlog. Come on. Okay guys, well, I am dealing with the repercussions of my actions, to say the least. Such a thing as a Pyrrhic victory comes from a ancient Roman general who, just to give you a kind of, I guess, reference for how cold this dude was, he was considered an adversary of Alexander the Great. So they were kind of rivals. Imagine the way Ronaldo and Messi are, or LeBron and Steph Curry. That's how Alexander the Great and Pyrrhic, I forget his first name, were. And he was a Roman general. Alexander the Great was a Macedonian general. And I'm just trying to make sure I remember this. I'm pretty sure it was Alexander the Great. I might be mixing up timelines. If I'm wrong, any history nerds correct me. It could have also been Hannibal. I forget which biography it was in that I read it. Pretty sure it was Alexander the Great. And he kind of, I know I'm muddying the history of this crap. Maybe I shouldn't give you guys a background. Don't take my word for it. Google this, please, because my memory's off here. But I was actually taught this by Cannon. He was, I consider him a friend now. He joined my first ever $100 info product, and since then he had joined the inner circle and what we did, and I actually met him in person a few months ago. And he's a big history nerd. He'd probably know the actual answer to this. I just remember reading in the biography and hearing it from him. Holy 1 minute explanation. Okay, the term Pyrrhic would be known for having a very powerful army, and he was known for winning in battles not by out strategizing when it comes to efficiency as opponent, but out strategizing in terms of brute force. So let's say his army had probably 50,000, which is considered massive for that time, and they were rallying against maybe a 10,000 person army. That was pretty substantial for a small nation. And he could just he'd win the battle by pretty much killing 10,000 to 15,000 of his men. Usually more of his men would die than the opponents, but he'd just have a bigger army. And because of that, he could do these it would be perceived as reckless, but he would pretty much just run into people because he knew he could overpower them. So because of that, he could seize things really quickly. It's kind of like Blitzkrieg, which Napoleon kind of popularized, and then Hitler kind of took it and ran with it. Almost got France. So very interesting how history works. But I say all of that to go, today's a Pyrrhic victor because I woke up at 5 and I literally recorded every time I stood up from my chair, which was 3 or 4 times outside of just going to the washroom. So I ended work around 7:15ish, so that's 14 hours at my desk. And it weighs on you, dude, because there's days where it's 14 hours and you stand up, you work out, but on a day like this, I literally didn't get out of my chair, and because of that, I feel my head spinning, especially because I did the dehydration thing to finish the edit, which is so dumb in hindsight. Sometimes you have to use fear to get you through things. That's natural. But holy boys, my head's spinning. I did this workout, and I can cross it off now. Let me just do it so I can show you guys. But holy, yeah, was quite the workout. So like I said, because I was actually planning on going for a run today, but I was a little bit sore. Actually I wasn't that sore today. I just knew I'd be kind of busy, so I have it as half of what I had as before. This is more sustainable. So I got my 50 push-ups done, squats, dips, burpees, pull-ups, and you can see I kind of like measure out when I actually did it. So I did 30 push-ups, 20 push-ups, didn't do any other exercises. Then I did this wave as like my big wave. Then like these three were the ones I did in the evening, and are the reason why I'm feeling pretty off right now. To give you an update on what I did for work, I just finished my handoff. So my editor, he's been sent a message and he's good to go to log in when I go to bed. So we'll see how that kind of pans out tomorrow morning. Once again, it's kind of like a trial period, or I'm not a trial period, but it's like a PIP, if you know what that means, like a performance improvement plan, at least for this video. So I have to act accordingly to that. What I didn't finish is chapter 11 and chapter 12. So chapter 10 is, you guys know a little bit about math. I didn't do that well in math in school because I didn't pay much attention, but I learned the value of it later on, other things. But I remember that when you do this, it means that these two are equal. If you do it like a different side of a square. I didn't do it properly here, but you kind of get the point. Chapter 10 was the same size as 11 and 12 combined in time. So it appears on paper like I did less, but I actually did a good amount of editing. I did 11 minutes of rolling footage, like I said, so that's actually quite good. Tomorrow, if I do another 10 minutes of rolling footage, I'm done the B-roll allotment. So I'm happy and confident about that. Sorry guys, my head is spinning. I have to get in the shower, maybe that will help. And when I get like super tired or nauseous like this, I start doing my twitches a lot, which isn't good. Hopefully this mango orange juice gets sugar in me and solves it. I also spiked my cortisol before going to bed, so I took melatonin, but I don't know. I try and cycle on and off that, majority off, and I just cycle on it for short periods. Like right now, I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule, but I had coffee late today. Crap. I say all this to be like, it's a big Farrick victory, because tomorrow, I say this, I was talking about this with a client last week, and he said it really helped him, so maybe it helps you guys. But all these, like, maybe you look at me and go like, oh, this guy's productive, whatever it might be. And I will say, like, being in my 4th year of entrepreneurship, like running agency into the info product world, and geez, I got like a trendy little hairstyle right now. I feel like I got the perm I never actually got. I hate the way that haircut looks. I do not like the way I look right now with that haircut. Put on my hat. But my 4th year running an online business, and also just when it comes to making money online, I'm on like my 7th or 8th year, right? Since I was 11, so 8th year. So I've had a lot of time to kind of discipline myself when it comes to working and how I work and focus. And I really only started getting into a really good hang of things a year to 2 years ago, right? And I say that to, by the way, hey, there's a weasel, guys. Let me show you. I gotta go scare him. Usually I don't mind dudes like this, but he's gonna eat. So he goes under there and he's gonna eat all of the plants that I don't do them, but my mom does them. So I gotta stand guard. I'm watching them as I talk to you guys. Is it a weasel? I forget what it's called. I think it's a weasel. Very, very interesting. You don't see like wildlife like that, at least where I'm from in Canada. I'm like from, the way I describe my upbringing in neighborhood is I was the least affluent in a affluent area. So I lived in an apartment, and my mom did really well. Like she made six figures, as a government job, benefits, everything. Um, but compared to my friends and whatnot, people I went to school with, I was not rich. And some of the kids that I went to school with, they're like, one of my kids, I remember doing a group project with a kid, and his uncle's the best lacrosse player of all time, and or no, his dad's best lacrosse player of all time, and his uncle's like the, I think, captain of the Maple Leafs. So that was the kind of, and like Olympians and rich business people like that. Those are the people I went to school with. So I was very privileged to come into great parents, and then also a background where, like, I consider my background an advantage, where I was able to understand the meaning of a dollar while also not having a scarcity mindset around what it can actually do. So I think like I've been so blessed in that aspect of life. So where was I? Going back to reality of what I was talking about. The thing with productivity for me is you're only ever, and I try and like pre-frame lessons, but you're only gonna remain productive by going to 80%. So the fallacy that a lot of people run into, and this particular client I was talking to, what happens is if you can only go hard for 2 to 3 days and you fail, the issue is that you're actually going too hard. And I'm not trying to be like some sissy, like, oh, you gotta relax. Like, I'm not an advocate of that for myself at my current stage in life. And if you want really elite results within a relatively short time frame, you're not going to be able to get there. Like, and I'm talking like dominate your industry. If you want to make a little bit amount of money, you can like screw off and be like all airy fairy. But I say it like sometimes it's an actual weakness of your mind to not understand the limits of your body. And Sam Ovens was the person that kind of first introduced me to this idea. And then you hear it echoed by guys like Alex, Hormozy, Iman Gadzhi, and all like a lot of people that have like documented their lives and are just like generally very proficient workers. And you'll see like Sam Ovens logged off around 6 or 7 p.m. and he'd go to bed at 10. Alex Becker, he talked about a lot of break time and stuff that he'd do. Iman, you see, like if you watch his vlog, you see take breaks. And you even maybe see me. Like yesterday, I finished my work around 5 and I went to bed around 8:39. And that like evening down reset time is still work, because what it allows you to do is if you work your capacity to 80%, you allow your body to recover, because when you go to 100%, it's like that remaining 20% is what your body uses to recover for the next day. And on a day like today, I've used not only 100% of my battery, but I've used more than that. I've used probably like 120% of my battery. And there's another video on my channel, if you go back, where I did a 16-hour workday, and the next day I knew it was going to be shit because I used 160% of my battery. So you should think about like 10% as like an hour of work. You really should only be working 8 hours a day, ultra focused, if you are on task, productive with what you're doing. And you might, like, I try and be at my desk for 10 to 12 hours, but I'm talking like deep work, 8 hours. And you can push that limit. Like in my thing, I would consider a lot of days I'm at like 90 to 100% of my work capacity, and I push it, and I get like burnt by my own biology often. Like on weekends, I have like a forced reset day where I'll go to bed on Saturday night or Friday night, and I'll wake up almost every weekend. I'll go to bed like 10, 11 p.m. wake up at 10, 11 p.m. or 12. I'll sleep 12, 13 hours. So you guys, I just want you to understanding your biology and being conscious of it is one of the most easy ways to understand where you're losing in work. And it's something that as I've gotten better at it, I'm able to better understand what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. So I'm gonna relax this evening, and I'd rather that than like immediately just try and like Sigma Alpha grind set, go to bed, wake up, boom, and then just like straight fly back into work. Because if I try and remain like super rigid like that, I know I'm just gonna run myself off the rails. So this evening, I'm gonna take my time with it. It's 8:23 now. I might probably end up still going to bed around like 9 or so, and I'm gonna shower, uh, lay down, watch some YouTube, and not like rush myself to bed. Maybe even sleep in a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I know that if I again push it, it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. So that's just some insight. And again, you want to plan in 2 to 3 hours of just no work every single day, maybe like 1 to 2 hours, but I'm talking like in the evening time before you go to bed, and really just get to kind of like ease out of your day. Even if you're still on your computer, just like sometimes I just sit there and watch YouTube, it's whatever. I like to try and talk to friends and everything, but it allows you to, and I'm saying this as I'm like nauseous as crap, sorry guys. But it allows you to really just remain productive over periods of time. So yeah, that is it. Overall, really great day today. On my little tracker, I'm definitely going to score today a 10 out of 10. I really, on a day like today, I don't think I could have feasibly, I'm not going to say that. There is very little worth doing that I could have done more. And what I'm very proud of myself for today, even though I understand I like pushed myself past where I should be going in terms of energy expenditure, I I could have easily called it at 5 p.m., went for a run, and then had a talk with you guys about how I didn't achieve what I wanted today. But I consciously, because I was thinking about doing that, I consciously made the decision to be like, no. And I recorded that video like 30 minutes deep into it of like, no, I'm going to push through this year. And I know what I'm doing. I know the consequence of it. I know it's dumb. But it's more of just proving to discipline myself and knowing that today was not in vain. And now I just have to take precautions, act accordingly for tomorrow. And holy crap, it's getting, I'm seeing stars. So I'm going to keep drinking this. I'm going to stop talking because that's expending more of my energy. But focus on your energy, not in like a, I could get you in the esoteric vibrational way another day. But I'm talking like biologically, because if you learn, like if you understand you have a set limit of energy, you can start to play with it in a more efficient way to actually understand what you're going to get out of your day, versus just how most people do it, where they think their mind is the only thing in the equation. They think their mind can like power them through being tired. Just it can't, not sustainably. That's why you can only go 1, 2, 3 days. So hopefully that helps. And yeah, I can't wait until sometime in the future I can drop a mindset module, because there's going to be so many, like I think I could really, around like my 10th year of entrepreneurship, drop like the ultimate, like every like history of going through every single internet marketing money mindset course. I've gone through Iron Mind by Becker, Iman's original agency Navigator one, Charlie, Sam Ovens, Nick Cosman, who else am I missing? Charlie, Sam Ovens, Nick Cosman. Who else had great mindset stuff? I've gone through like all of Hormozy's old videos. I've read, like, there's so much stuff. I've even done like understanding the randomness of numbers, chaos theory, all that stuff. Rob the Bank's actually a big fan of that, which you wouldn't expect, but I mean, if you look at his older stuff, you'd expect it, but first glance, I really think, yeah, I could drop something crazy, and it have like so many little autistic tips. Like something I've done is I only allow myself to have, I have an extension that limits my tabs to 4 tabs. And of course, like Sam Ovens says, like, yeah, be efficient about your tabs so they don't have too many open. And I've obsessed, like I will go on the Chrome Web Store and like scroll through it and just like try searching random keywords. to see if there's like something in my imagination. Because one day I thought of like, oh, limits for tabs, like tab limit, and I found one. I was like, let's go, this is sick. I could draw up such a practical, applicable mindset guide, and I'd be so excited to see where I'm at in 10 years with it. Because my computer, I was thinking about it, is compared to the average like default set loaded computer that most people work on, is a literal different machine. Everything I do has shortcuts, extensions for everything. So I'm super excited for the day that I finally get to nerd out and share that with somebody and have them properly appreciate and go through it. Because I showed it to my client today and he was like, whoa, this is some ninja stuff. So that's all. I'm yapping. I'm gonna wind down. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see how I'm feeling. So yeah, Road to 1 million, new title. That's something I didn't change today, but I'm gonna maybe fix in bed. I probably won't fix in bed. I'll probably fix it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna do my vlog. But see you boys, guys. I don't know. I don't even think I'm gonna read. I think I'm just gonna write my task list for tomorrow here and pass out. Just got out of the shower. Took a while in there. It is just 9:07 as you guys can see. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Holy crap, feeling a little bit better, but I definitely just need sleep. There's no remedy that can save me other than sleep here. So 4 hours 30 minutes. Okay, I promise this is the last update. I did a bit more reading to chapter 3, only like 8 pages, but you know, it's something. And now my task list is written, and now it's time for bed.